The American Broadcasting Company Radio Network presents Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corry, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are exploring the ruins of a lost civilization. Suddenly aware that a man is following them, Buzz pulls Happy into a dark passage.
You can see us stuck in here. You can't see us in this dark passage. He'll be found in here. Remember, look. The big stone at the entrance. It's moving. He knows we're in here. No man in the universe could move that stone. Waste. Not from this universe. He sealed us in. We're trapped.
We'll be back in a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol story, The Crown of Dargeeda. Korean children don't cry. It's a strange thing. Thousands upon thousands of them have been orphaned, cut completely adrift by the war. You see them in every large city, asleep on sidewalks, in alleys, under bridges, or wandering aimlessly around the street. Perhaps they're too hungry to cry, or too hopeless, with a terrible childish cynicism. Sight of their bewildered faces, their huddled, ragged figures like little old men and women, is something no one who has seen it can ever forget. There's a chance for you to restore a measure of faith to these forlorn children of Korea. A chance to restore their power to cry. A $10 care parcel will not only help feed one of these children for a month, it may also give him back his youth. Send your order now to CARE, 660 First Avenue, New York 16, or to your local CARE office. And now today's Space Patrol adventure, The Crown of Dargeeda. The patient in room 399 of the Special Confinement Ward in the Terra Hospital is causing great concern to Commander Corry. Captured after a violent struggle at the Terra spaceport, he has failed to respond to expert treatment. Although conscious and able to talk, he has refused to reveal his identity or the reason for his attempt to steal a spaceship. Now, in his central office at headquarters, Buzz examines the medical report that Happy has just handed him.
Well, a blood sample doesn't fall into any known classification. We really have got a mystery here. Yes, it's a case where our crime lab may be able to help the doctors. I'll call the identification section and see if they've matched his photograph with fingerprints. Well, he must have a record. If he wasn't trying to hide something, he'd have told us who he was. ID section. This is Commander Corry. You have a report on the subject in Bulletin 413-H. I see. And you have no matching photograph in the file. Now, how about fingerprints? You must have. You're certain? All right. Hurry up. I confess, his fingerprints aren't in the file. Safe for now. Happy, he has no fingerprints. Huh? But it's impossible. His prints are as smooth as smut. No loops, spirals, or scales. The person might have been wearing plastic gloves. Captain Rockets, the guy's a total mystery. We've got to give him a brainograph test right away and call the hospital. I don't quite get it, sir. What do you mean he's not as big a mystery? Now, hold it, Hap. Operator, this is Commander Corry at Space Patrol Headquarters. Put me through to Superintendent Mannheim. This is urgent. Hap. Yes, sir? Contact the security lab. Tell them to set up the brainograph. Dr. Mannheim? Commander Corry. I've got a theory about our patient in room 399. I think he's from another solar system. That would explain his behavior and also the trouble you've had in treating... Oh, all right, Doctor. Go ahead. What? When did this happen? Oh, how is Dr. Kemmer? Well, keep the guard at 399. I'll be right over. Corry out. Happy the patient escaped. What? The nurse found Dr. Kemmer lying dazed on the floor, covered with a sheet. The patient had taken the doctor's clothes. So how did he get past the guard? He didn't. The bars in the window were ripped out. Captain Rocket. I'll alert the spaceport, and we'll get over to the hospital.
Behind locked doors in a small apartment in another part of Terra, a man sits before a spacephone transmitter, beaming a signal toward a remote part of space.
Agent Orkan calling Chardu of Dargeeda. Agent Orkan calling Chardu of Dargeeda.
Mr. Chardu, why are you late in reporting, Orkan?
I met with a slight accident, Chardu. I was captured and confined to a hospital. Fortunately, I was able to escape.
About the crown. Have you located it?
The jeweled town of Dargeeda is hidden on the third natural planet of the solar system, a planet called Earth.
My ancestors lost the rule of Dargeeda 1,000 years ago when the crown was stolen. For 10 centuries we have been outcasts, under the control of despots. The return of the crown will mean that I will become emperor of all Dargeeda. So much at stake. I cannot risk failure.
I won't fail.
Very well, Partner. Continue your search.
In the headquarters office several hours later, Commander Corry and Cadet Happy go over reports from space control on all ships leaving Terra.
Now, this one brings us up to date as of 5 minutes ago, huh? No one using Dr. Kemmer's identification has boarded a spaceship since the patient escaped. Sir, I just noticed this report on Dr. Kemmer. Why a polygraph test on him? He was so dazed and incoherent, I figured it would be the quickest way to get information. How did you find out? Dr. Kemmer entered room 399 to examine the patient. As he leaned over the bed, the patient suddenly grabbed the doctor by the throat and held him with incredible strength. Did he get a look at whoever was outside, hoping the patient escaped? There wasn't anyone outside. But the bars. Somebody must have used special tools to tear out those bars in the window. Dr. Kemmer saw the patient do it with his bare hands. Sure, that's impossible. Nobody in the entire solar system could bend those bars. You're right, Hap. Nobody in this solar system. Remember the strange blood test. Cutting his fingertips. Hey, that's right. Still, this patient has unusual physical and mental powers. Plainly, he's from another solar system. There may be others like him living among us undetected. Well, what do they want? What are they up to? To find out, they'll have to capture it. If he can bend thick metal bars, it's going to be hard to handle. I'm not worried so much about his physical strength. It's his mental power. For instance, he seemed to have implanted in Dr. Kemper's mind the impression of Earth Spaceport number 7. Number 7? Well, that's in the southwestern United States. Yes, New Santa Fe. Yeah, but what's Earthport 7 got to do with the man that escaped? But it kept showing up in Dr. Kemper's chronograph test. And it has no significance to the doctor. I'll get it, huh? Commander Corry here. Yes, I did. Well, what was that destination again? I see. That sounds like our man, all right. Thanks. Corry out. Half an hour ago, a passenger ship from Terra landed at Spaceport 7 on the planet Earth. On board was a man who presented the credentials of a Dr. Mordano. Oh? Now, this Dr. Mordano made some inquiries about the Zanapi ruins, about 250 miles to the south of the fort. The Zanapi ruins? According to the medical association, there is no Dr. Mordano. There's a missing patient. You know, Hap, I think it's time we had a vacation. A vacation? Now? Yes. A quiet vacation on Earth, exploring those Zanapi ruins.
Back in the 20th century, jet planes roared over the sun-baked deserts of the American Southwest. But they left no mark on vast regions below. Now the spaceships of the 30th century split the skies with their thunder, but the desert remains unchanged. A surface car roars along a rough dirt road and stops before the only structure in miles. 2 men with camera cases slung from their shoulders get out of the car.
We could still make the ruins by dark, and then there's only a few miles farther. Well, we might be able to pick up some information from her. Besides, I'd like to establish ourselves. Sure. We can get an early start for the ruins in the morning. Look at this. Hank's Hotel. Indian relics, curios, sandwiches, rooms. I wonder if Hank does much business. I wouldn't think so.
Howdy, folks. Something I can do for you?
We were just passing by, and we thought we'd stop in.
Well, I'm mighty glad to see you. Don't get many business this time of year.
Well, when is your busy season?
Well, I've been here for 10 years. I don't reckon I ever did have what you'd rightly call a busy season.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, no, it ain't. I like it that way. Gives a man time to think. Fact is, I'm retired. I get just enough freight here to take the cruise out.
Retired? From what? If you don't mind my asking.
Oh, little everything. Ranching, prospecting, you name it. I managed to save up enough to get by on. Anything to take in here is pure velvet. Well, you get the life story of Hank Hodges.
You mentioned prospecting. You know I'm here?
Yep. And if that's what you fellas are here for, you're wasting your time.
I'm afraid we haven't the patience for that kind of work, Mr. Hodges. We thought we'd call around these old Indian ruins and snap a few pictures.
Oh, Zanapi ruins, huh? Well, I reckon every man's got his own idea of fun, but don't expect too much.
Why? Aren't they interesting?
All I know is the Indians left.
We'll take our chances. Judging by the lack of traffic in the road just now, we'll come to place to ourselves, I suppose.
Ruins, you mean? Yeah, as far as I know. You won't calculate going out there tonight, do you?
Well, we hadn't quite made up our mind.
Well, you better wait till morning. The road gives up and quits a few miles from here. You get lost.
Well, then what are we going to do?
Well, you see the sign outside? But there's a hotel, too. I think as fancy as those places up at New Santa Fe, but you'll be comfortable.
Sounds like a good idea. We'll take you up on that offer, Mr. Hunter.
Now you're talking. And just call me.
We'll get our gear out of the car. Come on, Hank.
Yes, sir. I'll be out to help you in the jiffy. Just remembered I got some coffee cooking on the stove in the back room. All right, Mr. Hodges. Agent Torzak calling Shardu of Dargeeda. Agent Torzak, codename Hodges, calling Shardu.
This is Shardu. Proceed with your report, Torzak.
2 men are here, on the way to the Janapi ruins. I'm sure they're space patrolmen after Agent Orkan.
You have your orders. Dispose of them.
It would be awkward here. I would be suspected.
Follow them to the ruins. Orkan must be protected from all interference in his search for the crown of Dargeeda.
Rest assured, Shardu. The space patrolmen will never leave the ruins of Janapi.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. The United States has seen many changes in the past dozen years, all pointing to a still better way of living. Millions more Americans are working, earning more, saving more. We're eating more and eating better. More young people are going to high school and college. More of us are getting paid vacations. More of us are enjoying the luxuries of life. Sports, radio, television, the theater, concerts. Church attendance and membership has climbed steadily upward. The better you know America, the better the future looks. Write for the free booklet, The Future of America. Box 1776, Grand Central Station, New York, 17. Now back to today's Space Patrol adventure, The Crown of Dargeeda. Commander Corry and Cadet Happy are in the southwest desert region of America, searching for a patient who escaped from the special confinement ward of the Terra Hospital. The patient's unusual physical and mental powers lead Buzz to believe that the man is from another solar system. Buzz and Happy spent the night at a lonely roadside hotel and curio shop, operated by a genial gentleman who calls himself Hank Hodges. The space patrollers don't know it, but Hodges is also from another solar system. Now Buzz and Happy are in their surface car, ready to leave for the Janapi ruins.
I remember now. Follow the road that runs out, then keep going. You come to the Red Butte. Cut right and follow the dry wash. You'll end up at the ruins.
You'll find it, Hank.
See you later, Hank. Go on, fellas. And watch out for the rattlesnake.
The surface car, designed for rough terrain, moves easily across the desert, through rocky arroyos and deep sand. Following Hank Hodges' directions, Buzz and Happy wind along the bank of a dry riverbed for several miles. Then Buzz suddenly plunges down the sloping side of a ravine and brings the car to a stop under overhanging brush.
We'll cover the rest of the way on foot, Hank. It's only a couple of miles to the ruins.
Yes, sir. On foot, we'll have a better chance of taking the fake Dr. Modano by surprise. Let's see. We'll need the cameras, canteens, and our guns.
And keep the guns concealed, Hank. And bring 2 Atomo lights to keep at the bottom of the ground.
Commander, this is a regular city.
Yes. According to Stondorf, there are thousands of yards of hidden passages.
Sterndorf? Who's he?
An archaeologist who did some exploring here a few years ago. You tell him? Pat, get behind this door.
You see me?
Better get out of sight. Almost cleaned up at that big stone. Severe earthquake here one time. Keep that stone also in front of the building. Nobody was in it. That's where a couple of times. Stone past the stone and leave the passage. So it's clean. See, it's stuck in here. We'd better wait for the shot. I can't see it since the passage. Commander, the big stone at the entrance, it's moving. He knows we're in here. But no man in the universe could move that stone. Waste time. He's not from this universe.
The seal is in. We're trapped.
Just one end is sealed. Maybe another. Switch on your Tom light. Let's find out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, come on. Here's another time. Let's hope this time it pays off.
Oh, it's a dead end. Oh, my gosh.
Take it easy. It's just a stretch.
Oh, it scared the life out of me, see? The tunnel light put it right square in the face.
It is startling. An ancient idol holding a sword and outstretched arm.
I guess we're really fixed this time. Big stone at one end of the passage and old double ugly at this one.
It's striking an attitude in its statue. It's like it is guarding something.
What is there to guard? It's just a blank wall.
It's not the Indians are too intelligent to go to this much work without a reason. The reason might not make sense for us, but
The idol is stone, but well, the sword is real. Hey, I wonder if I can work it loose from that stone first and make a dandy souvenir. Yeah, souvenir. That's the last thing we need now.
Happy. Stop your eye move when you pull it that sword.
Yeah, I guess old double ugly is falling apart from me. Smoking rockets, what's happening?
Part of the wall is swinging back. You found the way out of the passage.
You know, I figured that statue must have a purpose. There wouldn't be any sense of it just standing here.
Same goes for us. Come on, through that door. Stop. Turn that light.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I saw another man up ahead. Very beautiful still. There's someone else here. All right, get your hands up.
It's him, Commander, the escaped patient.
Yes, Commander Corry. I hardly expected to see you.
We wanted it to be a surprise.
I'm glad to see that you've recovered. Now, if you lead us out of here, we'll take you back to Kemmer.
And why to Kemmer?
For attempting to steal a spaceship, assaulting a guard, and Dr. Kemmer, and for impersonating a physician.
And just how do you know I am not a physician?
I'd also like to go into the matter of why you're in the solar system in the first place.
You have figured that out, have you? I suppose my tearing out the bars of the hospital window gave you a clue.
Yeah, and rolling that big rock in front of the passage.
Rock? What rock?
Oh, well, maybe a butterfly landed on it and tipped it off balance.
Oh, the rock. And there is no use pretending anymore, I suppose. My name is Orkan. I am from the planet in the Antares system. Planet Dargeeda.
I suppose there are others among us from Dargeeda.
I am not at liberty to answer.
The brainograph will tell us.
Gentlemen, you might as well put down those puny weapons.
Stay where you are, Orkan. One more step and you will be sound asleep from a charge of cosmic rays.
You will find that you are unable to pull the trigger tonight.
All right.
He's right.
It's just a trick of concentration, gentlemen. We of Dargeeda have the ability to control our minds. This self-mastery gives us power over less disciplined races such as yourself. We call it sight force.
Why didn't you use it on the guard at the spaceport?
It was taken by surprise. It takes a few seconds of relaxation and concentration to build it up. Fortunately, before the guard, I didn't even have time to build up my reserve of physical energy. And we never would have captured me.
But the strength of yours isn't natural.
It is an acquired skill. On Dargeeda, we begin training as very small children. We have centuries of knowledge and technique behind us. Now, I want some information. I came here to find a jeweled crown. It was stolen from Dargeeda centuries ago and hidden here in the Hinata ruins. Where is it?
I never heard of the jeweled crown. I know where it is.
Many relics have been removed from this chamber. You are going to tell me who would have this information.
I don't know. I'm a space patroller, not an archaeologist.
Oh. It is in your mind, isn't it? The name of someone who might know about the crown of Dargeeda. Who is this archaeologist?
I won't tell you.
There's no telling what you'll do.
I would do anything to make it come. Your foolish little laws against violence mean nothing to you, Commander. Come on, tell me. Whose name is? Sheriff.
Stand. Howard Stand.
And where is he?
Venus.
Don't fight it, Commander. You are creating an inner mental struggle that can harm you. Where is Sternberg?
You can't.
Commander.
I warned him. He's blacked out, but he will be all right. Cadet, pick him up. Carry him over your shoulder and follow me.
Only dimly aware of what he is doing, Happy obeys Orkan's command, following the man from Dargeeda through a corridor and out into the bright sunlight. Then he loses all sense of time. Finally, out of the blackness comes a vaguely familiar voice.
Son? Son, are you awake?
Happy opens his eyes and finds himself lying on a bed in a plainly furnished room. A familiar room. Lying beside him is Commander Corry. Again, the voice.
Son, I brought you and your buddies something that'll make you feel better.
Hey, how did we get back to the hotel?
Well, your friend brought both of you here in his surface car.
Friend?
Yes, Dr. Mordana. He's outside now loading some supplies into the car. You fellas had a bad case of heat stroke. Lucky the doc came along.
Listen, Hank, I've got to tell you something. He isn't a doctor. He's a criminal. And what's more...
Sure. Now, you just relax, son. I'll leave these 2 glasses of water here. When your pal wakes up, see that he gets a drink, too.
You don't believe me. I never had a heat stroke. It's that fake doctor. He's from another solar...
Sure, son. You just take it easy.
Hey, look, I've got to get a message to some friend. Will you let me use your space phone?
Space phone? What in thunder would I need a space phone for? Well, the way I figure, if a man ain't worth talking to face-to-face, he ain't worth talking to at all. Space phones. Bunch of nonsense.
Okay, but listen, Hank, be careful of that stranger. Don't tell him I said anything about him. He's dangerous.
I'll be careful. Don't you worry about a thing. Everything's going to be all right.
Nice try, huh? Yeah. Okay. If you didn't tell him we were space patrollers, he'd be convinced we were crazy.
We could only find some weapons. The trouble is, I can hardly move. I don't know what Orkan did to me, but... Hey, what happened? I'm all right.
So now, Orkan must have suddenly relaxed his sight for us. Let's take a look at him to see what he's up to.
There he is. He's loading stuff into his car. And Hank's helping him.
Let him see us. When we get the weapons, gotta make sure Hodges isn't in the way. Hey, have you seen that?
Possible, but I don't believe it. Instead of driving the car around, he just lifts up the back end, swings it over like I'd move a small desk. A little dried-up man like Hodges.
I have a feeling that if we examined those glasses of water we brought here, we wouldn't find anything.
You mean Hodges? That he's from Dargeeda, too?
Yes. I bet it was Hodges who rolled that rock across the passage back at the room.
Oh, I come to think of it. Orkan seemed surprised when we mentioned it.
I quickly took the blame so we wouldn't suspect Hodges. While we're busy outside, we'll look for weapons. Till we summon Hank's back in the town. Hurry, Happy, before Hodges comes back.
Yes, sir. Smoking rockets, a spacer phone. And he said he didn't have one.
What place was it? Happy, look around for weapons. I'll contact Terra headquarters and have them more in Sterndorf at Venus City University.
No, I hear someone coming.
Okay, I'll just go.
I just know Hodges keeps his distance. Hodges isn't hungry right now.
Orkan has wrested from him the name of the scientist who took the town of Dargeeda from a hiding place in the ruins of Granada. Space patrollers are now in a deep sleep. I gave them some medical advice.
Where is the town now?
Somewhere on Venus. Orkan was left with a spaceship. I will obtain more exact information from the space patroller. Relay it to Orkan. Soon, Shardu, you will be be wearing the crown as Emperor of Dargeeda.
Excellent. Keep me informed of all developments.
Yes, Sergeant. Corry.
I'll get him, Hap. Nice work, Commander.
On your feet. You ought to be ashamed hitting an old man.
An old man who can roll a 2-ton rock and lift a surface car. Not as old as you pretend.
You better tie him up, Commander. But what'll hold him?
Bring him a glass of water, Hap. One of the glasses he wanted us to drink.
Now, fellas, you got me all wrong.
Oh, you can stop acting now, Hodges. The curtain's gone down on your little scene.
When we're sure you're under control, we're going after your pal, Orko.
What about Shardu's crown? It's rightfully his as Emperor.
He's not our Emperor. And if he doesn't respect our laws, well, he's just going to have to rule bareheaded. And I hope he catches cold.
We'll have a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Young men, today's Army can prepare you for success. It can help you to a better future with valuable job training, opportunities for travel, and the chance to show your ability as a leader. The Army now offers training in over 30 career fields, in everything from auto mechanics to guided missiles and electronics. Here you can learn a trade which will pay you well for the rest of your life. And of course, you'll be paid while you learn. And you'll get a 30-day leave with pay every year. So serve your country and yourself in the new United States Army. See your local Army recruiter today. He's listed in a phone book. Now a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are aboard the Terrifier, approaching the planet Venus.
We're on vector for Venus City atmosphere shell, sir.
Fine, Hap. What our velocity?
Yes, sir. That's straight. Controls won't respond.
There's a warning from Space Control. Decelerate quick.
I can't, sir. Nothing happened.
By changing vector.
The controls are frozen.
Someone sabotaged the ship.
Orcon. Open up, if we don't do something quick, the ship will crash right into the heart of Venus City.
Be with us next week for the thrilling Space Patrol story, The Shadow of Shardu. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corry and Lynn Osborn as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Helen Moser. Other players were Tom McKee, Norm Jolly, and Ken Mayer. Lee Zimmer speaking. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.